This episode of Comic Confidential is brought to you by Potterheads,
the brand new podcast that takes you chapter by chapter through the wonderful wizarding world of Harry Potter.
Brought to you each week by your Hogwarty hosts, Amy and Kirsten.
Welcome back to another action-packed episode of Comic Confidential, the weekly podcast that talks about comics, movies, TV shows. Well, sometimes TV shows.
Sometimes. Yeah, we get in there.
Well, this week we're talking about bloody Blade Runner, so
yeah,
that's coming up.
Yeah, that's coming up. We've also got mad trailer action all week. We spoke about it last week.
Oh, we held out for as long as we could, but it just came out afterwards.
Tried the very next day and the day after, and just today even.
What a drop that was. We'll be talking about that later in the news.
What are we even talking about? We don't even know. We haven't even mentioned. It's a Justice League trailer, goddammit, and Star Wars.
It's Star Wars.
It's all
and
there.
New Mutant. It's all there. It's all there in the news.
All happening in an action-packed week. Man, how have you been? We haven't even introduced ourselves.
Oh, no, we haven't. I'm your host, Cade, and alongside me today is Troy. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I am good. I'm ready to go.
We're skipping all the formalities.
Yeah, you threw me with a little curveball. You're like, ad-libbing and just playing it off the top of the dome.
I was coming in with the old school intro there.
Yeah, that hasn't been around since, I want to say...
Episode
20?
50s? 50s, you reckon?
Yeah, I thought 40s. I don't know. It hasn't been around for a long time. I was a much younger man.
Weren't we all?
How's your week been?
My week, I've worked a double week.
A double week?
A double week. That's how many hours I've put in at work this week, Troy.
Damn.
Yeah, I've been putting in the hard yards this week. Just, trying to get that employee of the month thing going on. It doesn't exist, but,
Yeah, you're going to start it.
Yeah.
You're going to do such a good job that they're going to go, you know what? We need to create an employee of the month just for Cade. We'll give him a $10 gift card to Gloria Jeans.
That would be amazing.
I'd take that.
Yeah, me too. That'll at least get me half a coffee.
Yeah, well, it wouldn't get you a large one.
No.
It might pull out a regular or something there. Hey.
How about yourself?
Look, my week hasn't been as bad. It's not as full on as yours. I've been able to submerge myself in the news, and I had to use half of my week to watch Blade Runner 2049.
That was interesting, wasn't it?
Yeah, look, it was definitely one of the longest movies I've seen in a long time. That's for damn sure. That doesn't necessarily, that's not a precursor to what I think about the movie or anything like that. Like I said, we'll get into that later. But just let it be known, that's a long-ass movie, man. I managed to, this is, for me, this is absolutely amazing. 1 pee break.
Yeah,
I did 3 hours.
I did one, and I did it in the last 40 minutes.
Oh, that's not the time to go.
I know. I couldn't hold it. I was like, I got this. And then, but it was almost lucky because I was the only person in that cinema.
Oh, nice.
The only person.
Wow.
Yeah, and this was an 8:30 showing. This wasn't like a late show.
Well, it is a late show when it
by
finishes.
the time you come out. Yeah, but I could have asked them to pause it for me.
Imagine that. I went at about an hour and a half in. I made it I pushed for about halfway.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what? I just got to go do this. And I quickly ran out and I peed and I came back and I didn't miss anything. I didn't miss anything exciting. But you always take that chance.
I don't think so with that movie.
Well, there is an app. There's an app that you can get, and I cannot remember it off the top of my head. But there's an app that tells you the best time to pee during movies.
I don't want to know that because, I've only just started having to pee in movies. My body's like, you're too old now. You can't hold on.
It's like you've finally crossed that 30-year-old threshold.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, all right, you're going to pee every 4 hours
on the hour. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this is a great way to start the show. Talking about our bladder movements. Do you want to get into some news?
Yes, I do.
Let's get into some news, man. I'm going to kick it off with a little bit of DC news. Now, Legends of Tomorrow showrunner Phil Klemmer has confirmed that we will, in fact, see Matt Ryan's John Constantine play a part in the show's 3rd season, with the character having a major role in the series' 10th episode. Now, while it remains to be seen exactly what role he'll play, we do know it will be partly tied to his Season 4 cameo on Arrow, and does at least open the door to a live-action return to the character after his animated portrayal in Justice League Dark, and the recent pickup of an animated Constantine series by CW Seed. did our hashtag finally work?
I think so. I think the pressure that we put on the CW has finally paid off.
Yeah.
And I'd just like to thank all the listeners and subscribers for doing their part. Thank you very much.
Yeah, look, if you're just joining us or if you're relatively new to the show, we did put out a little bit of pressure out on Twitter quite some time ago. The old hashtag Bring Back Constantine. We mentioned it on just about every show. I'd like to think that it made the difference.
I 100% think this would not have happened without our input. And I just want to say you're welcome.
Yeah. Now, it is pretty good. Like, it is, at this point, it's only one episode. However, the next little bit of news does tie into it, and that's the fact that in Legends of Tomorrow, veteran actor Victor Garber is set to leave the show sometime in Season 3. So what that does is kind of open the door, potentially, for a new person. Could that person be Constantine, even though they kind of need a person to create Firestorm?
Yeah, that's what I was just about to ask. Do you think that we'll get Robbie back?
Well, no, because then who is the Firestorm? If you're running with Robbie and Jax, then who is it Robbie or Ronnie?
Ronnie.
Yeah, it's Ronnie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think his real name is Robbie though.
Yeah, it is. It's Robbie Armel.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Ronnie. So if you have Ronnie and Jax, who is the actual person who is inside the head?
Yeah.
And who is the embodiment of Firestorm?
Well, I feel like the smart person has to be in the head.
Yeah, so both of those guys, that's kind of what I mean. Both of those guys were like the he was quite clever.
He was a bloody physicist, mate.
Astrophysicist, we'll say.
He was all over it, mate. He was an atomizer.
Yeah, that's true. So yeah, he could, but I just don't think they'd get a character like Robbie Armel and then kind of, never give him any action stuff to do, you know what I mean?
You reckon maybe they would switch in between? Because I don't know if you've seen the trailer for Legends this season, but we got the older guy doing Firestorm.
Oh, damn.
It looks really cool. You should go check it out when you have a moment.
I will, for sure. But this is more about Constantine.
Yes, Constantine.
Because I want to look. CW Seed has picked up an animated series, and they dropped a little 3-minute sort of intro clip of the first episode, and it looks pretty good.
Okay.
It's on the CW, but they have allowed it is quite gory to an extent, and there is he does say shit, and I believe he says wanker at some point. But we're in 2017, those aren't swear words anymore.
No.
Yeah. So, look, it does look good, though, and I'm happy with that, but I would like to see this guy return live action.
Yeah, I think he is the perfect fit for Legends of Tomorrow. And do you think, they're kind of keeping this under wraps, they're just doing this as a screen test?
Maybe.
It'll be interesting, because I think after a mid-season break, we could definitely see him come into the show full-time.
Yeah, well, maybe they're doing it just to see what kind of buzz it generates.
Yeah, it's a bit weird because the internet just blew up when he went on Arrow. So
yeah.
I feel like it's a total missed opportunity if they do not lock him in.
Yeah, well, like I said, this is going to tie in directly to his cameo on Arrow.
Yeah,
somehow.
Well, if you think about it, they did the very same thing with Vixen on CW Seed. And then in the very next season of Legends, they brought her in as a regular.
Yeah,
so
true.
Maybe they're doing the same thing. They're kind of going to bait that younger audience to learn who Constantine is. And then they'll bring him in.
Yeah, I like it. Just bring him back. Hashtag bring back Constantine. Let's do it. Let's move on to some Marvel news. Now, the first reactions for Thor Ragnarok are in, and it would seem that while Marvel may have another smash hit on its hands, hailing it as the most fun Marvel movie to date, the heavy comedic elements could prove to be divisive amongst fans, according to some critical takes. Guardians of the Galaxy director James Gunn has also given the movie high praise, saying the incredible color makes Guardians of the Galaxy look like it was filmed with a sepia tone, and that Thor Ragnarok is the funniest of all the Marvel movies. So what's your thoughts on this, man? I know you've got a couple of things to say.
Yeah, I've been a little bit vocal on the Comic Confidential listener community about this. And I'm a bit worried that Thor has gone so far away from who Thor is.
Yeah.
For the sake of trying to be the cool guy in the movies now.
Yeah, yeah.
And are we losing the essence of that character? Because I don't need every character to be comedic relief.
Yeah. It's I need to see it, obviously.
Yeah.
I need to see how they do it, but it seems very much, and we've spoken about this before, but it seems very much now that it's gone from like trying to portray the character Thor to Chris Hemsworth kind of just being Chris Hemsworth.
Yes.
And like that's fine, like it works, and it's going to sell tickets, and this is set to open to between 90 to 100 million. That's what it's projected for, which is big money for a Thor movie. So it could work in their favor, and it seems to be working in their favor. I guess my problem is like I'm hearing stuff that's kind of like like laugh a minute kind of things.
That's too much.
And it's not that like these movies can't be fun. They're comic book movies. They're superhero movies. Of course, they should be fun. But yeah, I don't know. I'm going to reserve judgment because I'm very hyped to see this movie. Like, I think it's going to be so good.
I think it's going to be movie of the year.
But it is a little bit troubling. Tessa Thompson apparently is a standout, as is Jeff Goldblum.
Yes.
So look out for both of those.
I'm 100% not surprised that Jeff Goldblum is a standout.
Well, Jeff Goldblum's a standout in anything that he does, apart from maybe Independence Day Resurgence, because that was a piece of shit.
Wow, savage.
Now, I can also, in addition to that, I can also confirm that there are, in fact, 2 post-credit scenes in Thor Ragnarok, so don't be a duty. Stay in the movie.
Wow.
That's my new thing. That should be a slogan on every Marvel movie. Don't be a duty. Stay in the movie.
Look,
kind of rhymes.
This is like, I feel like you're attacking a certain friend of the show by saying that. And can you please, when you hear this, can you please add us and let us know how you feel?
Yeah.
About this? I feel like this is almost a slur.
It's not.
Wow.
It's 100% not. I swear to God. All I am saying is that, like, don't leave.
Yeah.
Just don't leave. And there's 2. So stick around for 2. There's not like 5 like
I feel
there
like
was for Guardians
you
of
could
the
have said,
Galaxy.
don't be sheet, stay in your seat.
Oh, that's nice too.
Yeah.
I like that.
What about the talk that we're potentially getting like a tri-series of a trilogy, some would say, of a Hulk movie going on within these movies?
Yeah, so a little kind of like mini arc within kind of the whole arc of Thor into Avengers and Avengers 4. Yeah, I like it, man. I mean, we're not going to get that standalone Hulk movie, so this is about as close as we're going to get.
I'm happy.
I'd like to see what they do with it for sure. Hulk is one of my favorite characters. Always has been. I am looking forward to the fact that he will be speaking more and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. And considering they haven't got the rights to the Hulk character for a solo movie,
yeah.
This is honestly the best we'll ever get.
Yeah, well, James Gunn basically came out and said that Mark Ruffalo absolutely crushes it in this movie, which I don't doubt.
No,
but we'll see. Look, yeah, give me as much Hulk as you're going to give me. Like, I'll take it all. But yeah, it'd just be interesting to see what they do once Hulk and Thor separate.
Yeah,
yeah. Now, a little bit more Marvel news.
Okay,
one more. Then we'll get into some trailers because we've got a lot of trailers to talk about. So, not long after announcing Pirates of the Caribbean director Gore Verbinski will be taking on directing duties, 20th Century Fox have now announced an official release date for none other than long-troubled Marvel and X-Men entry Gambit. Set to be released Valentine's Day in 2019, the movie fills the previously announced untitled February 14 release set by 20th Century Fox some time ago. What are your thoughts on this? We've got a director. We've got a release date. Channing Tatum still sounds committed. What do you think?
Point one, that February 14th isn't why Deadpool was successful, Fox.
Yeah.
It wasn't that. Point two, Channing Tatum has to hit the gym hard at the moment. He wasn't looking his best
he was a bit,
in the Kingsman. He was a bit flat and flabby.
Yeah.
That's rich coming from me.
Yeah, 100%.
But, I'm also not a A-list movie star in action movies. So you can take that however you want. But I think Fox are doing some pretty good stuff with their movies and their TV shows by making them very different. Look, I think they don't make Gambit like a traditional X-Men movie.
Yeah.
Make it a heist movie.
Ooh, yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
That could work.
I reckon that could go really, really well.
And then you also get the possibility of having a Gambit Deadpool team up, which could be pretty cool.
That would be
they
great.
have done that in the comics as well, obviously. With this, for me, Fox cops a lot of shit.
They do cop a lot of shit.
And people seem to forget that they actually do bring out like really good quality movies. Not always.
Not always.
Like, you know, they've pretty much fucked every single Fantastic Four movie that comes out, and that's fine. But, you know, we're talking like Deadpool, we're talking Logan, we're talking X-Men First Class, X-Men Days of Future Past, etc., etc., etc. Like, there's the quality is there.
X2, baby.
X2 from back in the day. It's all there. They've had some missteps, but, you know, I mean, I hold high hopes for this. Like, I think, you know, if they do it right, New Mutants is another one we're going to talk about pretty soon that they're doing. Fox is doing great guns with their X-Men TV shows, with The Gifted and Legion. Like, give them some credit. It's not like they're kind of, you know, Sony with the Spider-Man verse, for fuck's sake.
Well, yeah, that's true. And what I like, you know, they are giving these other kind of genres a go, which we're going to talk about New Mutants in a minute. But I'm excited for this X-Men universe, eh?
Yeah, me too. Like, and, you know, Gambit, growing up, was probably one of my favorite X-Men, if not my favorite X-Men. I was about as far against the casting of Channing Tatum as I could have been. I genuinely don't think Channing Tatum can do much more than be Channing Tatum in the movie. I really want him to prove me wrong, but he does have to get an accent happening, and, you know, he's got to do a whole bunch of things. He's got to get very athletic and it's not like the kid can't do that sort of thing.
He's just got some work to do, mate.
He's got some work to do. It's still a bit troubling. But if you tell me that there is a Gambit movie coming in 2019, I am going to give you my money. Now, let's talk about some trailers.
Let's do it.
All right. So, as we've spoken about many times already, 20th Century Fox have released the first teaser for their latest entry into the X universe, The New Mutants. Directed by Josh Boone, The New Mutants takes the series in a more horror approach as we follow a group of young mutants held in a secret facility and fighting for their survival. New Mutants is set for release April 13, 2018. We got a lot of shit coming. There is a lot happening. Between now and 2020, we are just balls to the wall, TV, movies, superhero stuff, non-stop, and I love it, and I want more, and I've seen this, and I want it. I'm not a horror fan necessarily.
But it's hooked you.
But it's hooked me.
Yeah.
It's different.
It's very different.
Give me that different.
If they didn't say the word mutant in this, I wouldn't know.
You legitimately wouldn't know that it's an X-Men movie, and that's, you know, it's just a first teaser, and I'm sure as we go along we'll see more and more. I can see why some people might be a little bit concerned initially, in the sense that it looks about as far from an X-Men movie as you can.
But I think that's the best thing that they can do at this stage. I mean, you look at Logan, that's as far away as an X-Men movie that you'll ever see.
Yeah, true.
Ultimately, if he didn't pop his claws, is it even an X-Men movie?
Yeah, true. But when you look at, you know, even something like Legion, which is that very much kind of like that psychological thing as well.
Absolutely.
That they're trying to play on here, that didn't really look anything like an X-Men series or movie or anything either.
Not at all.
And that absolutely knocked it out the park. I'm really keen for this. It's got a lot of like great young talent coming through in it as well. So I think it's going to like play out really, really well. I could be wrong, but, you know, I'm not.
I'm excited that the whole Fox studios are going down this route of doing these different types of takes on these X-Men movies, because I think we can see some really, really interesting things. And like I said just previously, if we go for a heist movie with Gambit, now we've got a horror movie with New Mutants. What's next, Troy? We've got a comedy movie. Can we get... we got Deadpool.
We got Deadpool. That's like a comedy action type of thing. Let's get a romantic comedy.
Yeah, I want a rom-com.
Let's get an X-Men rom-com happening. But let's do it weird. Let's do it with... I don't know. I don't have it, but I want a rom-com. That's what I want.
I want it to be with Cyclops.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I want him to find like another person like him, so they can just stare into each other's eyes.
What about Cyclops with like the ancient mythological creature, the Cyclops?
You sold.
You sold me. It was like a buddy cop movie.
Yeah.
Cyclops, and it's like Cyclops cops.
Yeah. Cyclops. Cyclops, yeah.
I love it. We got there in the end.
Nailed it. See, that's what we need. We need a buddy up X-Men movie.
Yeah, and we'll get it. Look, I think we're going to get that a little bit with Deadpool 2, with Deadpool and Cable.
Yep.
I think, you know, as much as, you know, Cable will be kind of played along the more serious side. I think he will be the serious center to Deadpool's wacky, insane kind of
I think
guy.
so.
I think eventually we'll get there. But you look at some of the talent involved in this, man. You've got Maisie Williams from Game of Thrones. You've got Charlie Heaton from Stranger Things.
Yes, indeed.
Anya Taylor-Joy from... she was in Split. Heaps of people, man. It's looking really good. So I'm really keen for this. I like the different take, as I said. Let's move into something that's going to absolutely, I hope, knock it out the park.
Yes.
Come November. And that's Justice League.
Justice League.
Warner Brothers and DC Entertainment have released their final Justice League trailer. Coming in at just over 3 minutes in length, it gives us our final looks at the heroes as they band together to take on Steppenwolf when the movie is released November 17 this year. Now, this is where we are going to have to get into this whole Zack Snyder, Joss Whedon debate. Don't want to, but we're going to have to do it. Because, look, whether it is an actual decision from Zack Snyder, and it was his vision all along, whether it's the cinematographer, whether it's Joss Whedon, this trailer is a shit ton brighter, and you can't tell me that it's not.
Yeah, look, I totally think that this is Zack Snyder's decision because, you know, he's done 2 movies and produced another by the name of Suicide Squad that all had these very dark tones. So, you know, I think this really is his type of choice to make this a bright movie. And if you can't sense, this is extreme levels of sarcasm.
Oh, okay.
And
hang on, wait.
Yeah. What you're saying makes no sense,
yeah,
sir.
But I'm going to nod and agree with you because, you know, you're my friend. I'm going to be with you on this.
No, this is definitely well off board from what I think Zack Snyder has wanted to put out.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty disappointed by how bright this trailer now is.
Are you?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Genuinely. I really like that whole darker, gritty look that this Zack Snyder universe has.
Yeah.
Because I don't need like all my scenes to be lit up like a bloody Christmas tree. I like to have a little bit of depth, a little bit of character to the actual scene, not just to my characters.
Yeah, that's fair. But I guess for me, like, and I've been fairly, you know, like, if I'm critical about anything, which I'm almost never critical about anything, I love it all. But if I have been critical about anything, it's been these end fight scenes where it's just all completely dark and there's fire everywhere and it's really hard to see kind of what's happening.
Yeah.
This seems to have taken us out of that a little bit with the scenes that we get. Because I remember seeing the early trailers, and I'd love someone to do a side-by-side comparison of some of the scenes where, you know, this is 1 or 2 grades lighter, and I like that because I can actually see what is happening.
Yeah, right.
I don't want it to take away from the tone that Zack Snyder has set, but I do appreciate the fact that I can now kind of get an idea of what is happening. And I can see the heroes, and I can see the battle that's happening, and I can see all the action and the detail. And this is Snyder's detail and stuff like that, like these, you know, these set pieces and, you know, some of the shots and stuff like that. You can actually see what is happening rather than struggling. And I do appreciate that because I think it looks pretty amazing.
Yeah. Oh, look, the trailer does look beautiful. And I mean, you know, everyone can have whatever style they want. I like the old style. I'm pretty sure I'm going to love the new style too.
Yeah, true. Let me ask you a couple of questions.
Okay.
What's your thoughts on Cyborg CGI still at this point?
I think it's fine.
Because people are quite critical. If they're critical on anything, this is what they're critical on. It's Cyborg CGI still looking a bit rubbish.
Yeah, but it's still a trailer.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, if that's the worst thing that comes out of this movie,
yeah,
that's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
Like, it is a pretty tough character, I guess, to do. And, you know, you're going to have people that say, what about Golem? He was a full-on CGI character done in the same mocap suit.
Yeah, but you're kind of looking at a skin, fleshy thing and not like a
metallic...
completely cybernetically enhanced humanoid type thing.
He's a Terminator.
Now,
I think it's fine, honestly.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like, I don't think it's a problem at all. I'll you know, we'll see the finished product and all that, but I really, really don't think that there is that much of an issue to worry about. Second thing, let's talk about Aquabro.
Aquabro. Yeah.
Yeah, my man. I love it. It's Jason Momoa being Jason Momoa.
Yeah, and this is a problem that I kind of have. Like, I don't know what I was expecting from him.
Yeah.
And I guess this is Aquaman. He's Aquabro.
Well, see, this is the thing. Like, I like Jason Momoa. He seems like the coolest dude. Whatever. All praise due to Jason Momoa. But I've seen a lot of his stuff, and like he's not an amazing actor.
No.
Like, he doesn't have like a depth of range of, like a lot of other sort of like actors, a Ben Affleck, say, kind of has, or something like that. So with that, I'm happy for him to just be himself, because then you're actually going to get a good performance.
Yeah,
and it's not
and
going
that's
to
the
be
good part.
wooden or stilted. It's just Jason Momoa going out there and having fun, and he just happens to look something like Aquaman, and is going to be called Arthur Curry. So I'm all for it. I say go for it. One more question in regards to the Justice League trailer. Wonder Woman. Now, okay?
Yeah. Was there too many like little cheeky smirks from her?
Yeah, maybe.
Like, is that how they're going to play this character? Kind of like.
I really don't think so.
No.
I don't. What I was going to ask though is like I firmly believe that they are going to try to structure the movie around her based on the success of Wonder Woman and things like that. And I'm 100% happy for that to happen. Do you think that's a problem?
No. Nah, she's really like the golden child when it comes to this. I'm pretty happy with it kind of being based around her. I mean, she's thousands of years old.
Well, yeah, in the absence of Superman,
who
would
else?
you want to step up?
Exactly.
Regardless of the success of Wonder Woman and all that sort of stuff, who do you think is going to take the reins?
Exactly.
Like the 1,000-year-old like Amazonian trained warrior that's been through epic battle after epic battle after epic battle, that's defeated gods and done this and all that sort of stuff.
Or
like the 45-year-old dude with like a nice suit and some tech.
And can fight a clown.
Yeah. So, like, that's not a knock on Batman, but let's be real.
Yeah, you're comparing, oranges and apples.
Exactly.
Look, let's talk about The Flash.
Okay.
Yep, we're done.
Yep. He was barely in it.
He was barely in it. A little bit disappointing. Is this DC's way of kind of like backing away from The Flash?
I don't think so. I think from what I've heard from, first reactions and stuff like that, he does kind of steal the movie. So I think they're going to kind of try to keep it back a little bit.
Right.
Like, keep it reserved and then kind of bring it in as a surprise. Like, check out The Flash and how fucking cool he is.
Yeah.
You haven't seen all this stuff yet. You've just seen this thing and this thing and this thing. But look at all this other really cool shit he does.
And do you think that's also because of the Flash TV show that they're kind of keeping that a little bit reserved and they don't want people to be confused?
Oh, I wouldn't think so.
You don't think so?
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think like they're really kind of banking on the fact that there are a lot of CW The Flash watchers out there, and it's like, oh, that's not Grant Gustin. What's happening? Like, I don't understand.
I think you'll be surprised. Now, what's your opinion on the fact that we got a little sneak peek at Superman?
Well, I liked it. This is the way you reintroduce the character, like
without saying, "Hey, by the way, he's in the movie."
Yeah, he's in the movie. But is he?
Yeah.
You don't know.
Wink.
Are we going to have that return that we've all been expecting? Like, what I love about it is that this should, by all means, be the final trailer. There might be a couple of TV spots or something left or whatever, but they have not ruined the return, and they've saved it for the big screen. And that's what they needed to do this entire time.
Yeah.
And they did it, and I really appreciate that. I like it.
Yeah, I think it's good. Now, I'm going to throw one final question at you regarding this trailer.
Okay.
Do you think the focus on the ring had anything to do with Lantern Corp?
No.
No, you don't think you seriously don't think that might have been just like a little check this out?
I genuinely don't. See, look, everyone talks about symbolism and all that sort of stuff, especially with Zack Snyder, right?
I'm also like saying you were the guy that saw the green light on the bottom of the bat plane.
Hey, that was the goddamn green light, and I thought it might have been a lens. But anyway, look, it's not about me. This is about your goddamn theory here. So with this, like, as far as symbolism and Zack Snyder goes, like, everybody is very quick to, like, when they first saw Ezra Miller in, like, a red and, like, black checked kind of, like, hoodie jacket sort of thing, they're like, oh, that's, like, a throwback to, like, to the original Superman when you see Clark Kent and he's in the field and he's got, like, that red and blue jacket. It says, like, Zack Snyder is the, the man, of all these little, like, throwbacks to, like, the classics and all this sort of stuff. and then you actually see Superman in a cornfield wearing almost the exact same shirt that he was wearing in that thing. And that is that. That's just Ezra Miller maybe just kind of like wearing a shirt that looks kind of similar.
No.
So what I'm saying is people are very quick to try to jump on symbolism of things. I think that's symbolic of her relationship with Superman and how, she has lost him and all that sort of stuff.
Except
I don't think that's...
it's on her wedding finger.
Well,
is she engaged to a dead man?
Well, she could have potentially moved it to her finger.
That's weird.
Is it though?
Yes.
Like, I mean, you're engaged to the dude, you love him more than anything, you're more than happy to marry him.
Were they engaged before he died?
I don't really remember. Yeah,
I don't think
did he give her the ring, or did she just find it?
Maybe
she's like, this is mine now.
Yeah, like what if that wasn't for her? Like, what if that was like Martha's, and he was just like
getting it resized?
Yeah. Like, can you just use your heat vision and just resize this for me, please, sweetie?
Yeah, and she's just like, oop, dead. I'll take that. That's mine now.
And then, like, Martha comes in and sees that on her finger and is just like, oh, for fuck's sake.
Get over it.
What do I do? Get out of my house, woman.
I am very pumped for this movie, let me say. We are finishing the year strong because come December 15th, we have Star Wars, The Last Jedi. Now, Disney and Lucasfilm have finally released the first full-length trailer, not to be confused with the teaser trailer. That's not a full trailer, that's just a teaser, to the upcoming 8th installment in the Star Wars saga, The Last Jedi, set to be released December 15th. As I said, the 2.5-minute long trailer gives fans quite a lot to think about in the upcoming 8 weeks to release, and according to director Rian Johnson, it's actually best to avoid if you want to go into the movie with fresh eyes.
Why'd you release it, you fucking dickhead?
Well, it's not up to him necessarily.
I'm pretty sure he could have a good say.
I don't think so. I think that's Kathy Kennedy and Lucasfilm that are kind of just going, yep, that's us. I like it. Let's get it out to the people. They want it. They've been clamoring for it. They've been beating down our doors, and let's give it to them. And they did, and I had a boner the entire time. I'm not going to lie.
I'm so pumped for Porg Wars.
I can't wait. Porg Wars is going to be amazing.
It is lit AF.
The first question I want to ask you, do you think this was as spoilery as people are saying?
No, not at all. I mean,
very misdirectional.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I mean, the only thing that I think you could say is spoilery is that we see a battle between some Imperial walkers, old and new, against some fighters from a previous teaser trailer.
Yeah.
That's it. And you see them on the fucking horizon anyway.
Yeah, you do.
That's all I reckon is spoiled here.
Well, yeah, I guess what people are kind of getting at is, you've got the kind of misdirection of there's like, who is Snoke talking to at the start? Is he talking to Kylo Ren, or is he talking to Rey?
Well, who do you fucking think?
Well, I personally think he's talking to Kylo Ren, because then you then get Luke Skywalker saying something very similar in the sense of, this is like he hasn't felt this kind of power in X amount of time. That is what I believe he is probably talking about Rey.
And I think Snoke will be going over there, going to Kylo Ren. Holy shit, mate. Did you feel that disturbance in the Force?
Yeah, exactly.
You're fucked.
You're fucked. Now, the other big misdirection is the kind of the bit towards the end, or it's at the very end, that is kind of making people believe that Kylo Ren could help Daisy Ridley join the dark side. Now, I am not convinced.
Oh, no, I'm hooked, line and sinker, mate. That is not a cave that she's in.
Here's my theory. He is reaching out for Luke, and Luke turns to the dark side. I'm just saying.
Ooh.
I'm just throwing it out there. Could be very controversial. I don't think anybody would want to see it happen, but it's kind of like it's kind of written, isn't it? I mean, it's the exact same thing that happened to his dad, his old papa, Anakin, Annie. Same thing.
Well, how
Tried
about
to be a good Jedi, failed.
I've heard
killed some kids.
I've heard the theory that Luke turns to the dark side, and that Rey and Kylo Ren have to team up.
Oh, to beat him.
Ooh,
I like that one too.
Because maybe, and this is my theory, is we see Luke, he gets really, he gets shook, bruh, by the fact that Rey is so powerful.
Yeah.
And his previous experience with Kylo Ren obviously isn't good. He burned his bloody house down, mate.
Yeah.
I think he's like, you know what? I've had enough of this shit. I was the Last Jedi. Links up to the title, right?
Yeah, yeah. And he's going to say it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He will, of course. And then he'll look into the camera.
Yeah.
And he's going to go on a vengeance mission against him.
Okay.
Because, you know what? If he wants to be the Last Jedi, so he's going to kill these last two.
Well, I don't know if he would just be like, I am so selfish, I want to be the last one.
No, but he doesn't want he wants to be, I guess, the Punisher of the Star Wars universe.
Okay, do you think kind of in a misguided attempt to rid the world of the dark side altogether?
Yes.
Interesting. Let's talk about Porgs.
Yeah, Porgs are great.
The new Ewoks, 2017's Ewoks. Here's my thing. I hope they have a very, very small part to play because, and you only saw one thing and that's fine and they're cute and whatever, but please, Star Wars gods, lords, Jesuses, please do not make these things a major focal point. Like, I know you guys are going to sell goddamn toys anyway. People are going to buy the shit out of these things.
They already are.
Yeah, exactly. You don't have to push it. Please don't throw them in our face. As much as, I liked Ewoks when I was a kid back in the day, I'm not so much of a fan of that sort of stuff now. Just give me some goddamn sexy action like Finn versus Captain Phasma. That looked pretty amazing.
That looked great.
Looks like probably one of the best scenes of that trailer.
The only thing is now we know like Finn is obviously A-OK.
Well, we sort of knew that already. And that's probably one of the spoilery things is the fact that we see Finn is okay.
Yeah.
We see he's been captured and taken back. And then we kind of see that he has probably found a way to escape. And that is why it brings him to this final showdown against Captain Phasma. So we figured out what Finn's doing. And that might have something to do with Poe Dameron as well. He might launch the attack on the base. Who knows?
Yeah. What's your thoughts on Chewie?
I love Chewie.
Yeah, what do you think of him in this trailer? A lot of people are saying this is shocking CGI, but I've heard reports that this is
on.
Like,
this movie looks fucking spectacular. You cannot be so fucking negative in your life where you have to sit there and look for the shittest thing and go, nah, not happy. This is fun.
Look, I'm going to be honest.
I'm going to give me something to throw.
Look, I'll be honest. This was the first thing I took from my first viewing. I was like, oh,
come on, man.
That's not the best. But then I moved on. I didn't go on the internet and talk about it. I saved it for this podcast.
I was too busy trying to suppress my massive erection for like how amazing this thing is. Now, I didn't succeed for those playing at home.
Terribly embarrassing.
I cannot sit there and go, oh, hey, you know what? Like, this whole thing looks so good. The only reason I spoke about cyborg CGI, I don't actually have a problem with it, but people do.
Yeah.
There's a thing, like, you get something that looks as good as Star Wars The Last Jedi trailer looks, and you still want to find something to pick. What is wrong with you?
Fuck you.
What is wrong with your life? Anyway, Star Wars The Last Jedi is set to be released December 15th. Acclaimed director Denis Villeneuve is back in cinemas this week with Blade Runner 2049, the long-awaited follow-up to 1982 sci-fi classic Blade Runner, which saw Harrison Ford tasked with the job of hunting down a group of rogue human-like replicants in the year 2019. That's pretty soon. It's going to happen soon.
Very soon.
The sequel, at 2 hours and 44 minutes long, is one of the longest we've ever reviewed, so hold on to your butts, because they're going to get numb as we review Blade Runner 2049. What's the synopsis on this bad boy?
30 years after the events of the first film, a new Blade Runner, LAPD Officer K, not to be confused with Agent K from MIB.
No one was.
I was.
Literally no one.
Anyway, he unearths a long-buried secret that has the potential to plunge what's left of society into chaos. K's discovery leads him on a quest to find Rick Deckard, a former LAPD Blade Runner, who has been missing for 30 years.
Wow. I feel like your take on that synopsis was almost as long as the movie itself.
Yeah, I had to stretch it out because this was the only entertainment I really got from this movie.
Oh, damn. Damn. All right, well, let's talk about some money. So it is struggling a little bit at the box office. So this had an opening weekend of $32.7 million. Originally projected to hit in the 50 plus and suffered somewhat in the later, upon release, even though it had it's had stellar critical reviews.
I heard mixed.
Really?
Yes.
I haven't seen many mixed. I've seen mostly positive. But anyway, that's fine. Like, there have been some people that have obviously been a little bit more negative towards it. So it has, on top of its domestic total, 32.7, let me get this out, $32.7 million, a foreign total of $49.2 million. It's got a worldwide total so far of $81.9 million on a very, very generous $150 million budget, because there's word that it could be anywhere upwards of 185.
Which I do believe it will be.
Yeah.
This movie casts Ryan Gosling as Kay, Harrison Ford as Rick Deckard, Anna de Armas as Joy. Did I get that right?
Did you just call him Deckard?
Did I? Deckard.
Rick Deckard.
I think you heard that incorrectly.
That's the porn version.
Yes. Robin Wright as Lieutenant
Joshi.
Sorry, we had a cursor over the word. I thought that said Yoshi.
Yep, and with Jared Leto as Wallace, Dave Bautista as Sapper Morton, and Sylvia Hoeks as Love. Directed by Denis Villeneuve, as I said before, written by Hampton Fancher and Michael Green, with cinematography by the absolutely legendary Roger Deakins, who is my dad.
Is
Roger Deakins, my dad.
Well, there you go. I learn something new every day.
Now, this is going to be interesting because we are going to do some spoiler-free thoughts, and then we're going to get into some spoiler-filled talk. However, this is the kind of movie that's very hard to talk about spoiler-free. So what I want you to do is just give me a brief summary of your overall thoughts on the movie without spoiling anything. Go.
Okay, this is actually going to be super difficult. Look, this movie has to be one of the most beautifully shot movies that I've seen in a long time. Pacing is a very, very big issue with this movie. It is incredibly long, and I feel like the storyline doesn't keep you going, keep you interested enough throughout this movie. I do believe there's a fair few, I guess, plot holes that are quite massive for the sake of just making the movie flow.
Wow.
And the fact that they kind of need that for a 3-hour movie kind of lets it down, in my opinion. However, in saying that, it is like a beautiful painting that runs for 3 hours.
I like that. That's not too bad. A beautiful painting that runs for 3 hours. I completely disagree with you. And that's not to say that you're wrong, because I think this is going to be very divisive. Because for me, I understand 2 hours and 45 minutes is long. I understand 2 hours and 45 minutes is too long. But what I didn't find is I didn't find myself bored at any point. There was only one time I looked at my clock, and that was to pee, as I spoke about before, to find out how long I had held it.
Send the record.
Yeah, basically to see if it was kind of long enough to warrant, having actually just sat down. So that's the only time I looked at it, because I thought the story, it played really well. And you're right, the cinematography in this is stunning, absolutely stunning. And if Roger Deakins doesn't get an Oscar for this, because he hasn't yet, and this dude has done some fucking brilliant stuff before, but if he doesn't get an Oscar for this, I don't know what will ever get him an Oscar, to be honest with you. What I liked about this, though, is the fact that it didn't take you out of the Blade Runner world. It built on the Blade Runner world, but at no point did you ever feel like you needed to be an expert in the Blade Runner world or lore prior. So a lot of the plot points kind of don't necessarily rely on you knowing everything, because they kind of fill those gaps for me.
Yeah.
Aside from a couple of little things that we can't really talk about, I thought the performances overall were great. I think there's a couple of little, I would question Jared Leto a little bit.
Yeah, but Jared Leto's a real fucking weirdo.
He is a real weirdo.
Can he not just take a normal role? This guy.
Well, I
Like,
think he's going to be
he's-
typecast as this kind of role
Yeah,
now. That's
I
the
think
thing.
he likes it. I think he likes just being a fucking weirdo.
It's like, hey, have you got something where I can like use blackout contact lenses and pretend I'm blind, and then I'll hang out with a bunch of blind kids to learn like how to be blind?
I'm method AF.
Have you heard how method I am? But then I'll come out later and tell you that I didn't actually do any method acting at all, and that was all a lie and a bunch of rumors.
No, did you hear this guy was walking around on set with his blind contacts in? So
Yeah.
like he could actually like channel the blindness.
Wow.
Because it really fucking paid off. Like he was a complete pain in the ass to everyone on set because he was like, I'm fucking blind.
Yeah, right.
And yeah, you know, it totally was worth it for this movie.
I thought Ryan Gosling was great. Ryan Gosling's performance was understated, but it needed to be, and it needed to be very kind of monotone and
Absolutely.
not, and that's because like we'll get into that more in like spoiler territory. I guess I will wrap it up by saying that for a 2 hour and 45-minute movie, it kept me entertained the entire way. I love the fact that it's world building, and I love the fact that there's more that we can go on. I love the fact that the cinematography not only kind of added to the beauty of the movie, but added to the story as well.
It was almost a character.
Yeah, 100%. And as a fan of the original, but not like a massive fan, like I'm not like one of these crazy hardcore Blade Runner fans, I thought it was absolutely, like, I will say superior to the original, but only because of its newness, I think.
Troy, you haven't seen the 18th cut of this movie. How can you make that judgment?
Well, what I like about this is Denis Villeneuve has come out and said, this is it. There is no director's cut. There is nothing like that. The theatrical cut is the finished cut. So we will not see 8 takes on this movie like we did with the original, which made it quite difficult to watch. Now, anything else you want to talk about before we go into spoilers? Because it is very hard to talk about this movie without getting into spoilers, and I do not want to ruin it for anybody, because I believe if you are going to spend this much time in the cinema watching a movie, you should go in fresh, and you should like let everything unravel naturally and organically. So what do you think? Rate it or hate it? Honestly.
I am going to hate this movie.
Wow.
Yeah, and you know what? That's only because I can't ever remember being a super fan of the original Blade Runner movies. Yeah, it was a real long drag for me.
Really?
Yeah, the movie really didn't capture my interest. There was a lot of detective work, and I'm usually a big fan of that. But
Yeah.
I feel like the detective work was a little bit too in-depth.
Okay, that's fair. As I said before, I do disagree with you completely. I loved it. I 100% rate it. I will not rush out to see it again in the cinemas.
Well, see, I would beg to differ. I say go to the cinema to enjoy.
Oh, no. I mean a second time for a second viewing. Sorry. I won't rush back to the cinemas to watch it again.
Yep.
But I will most definitely watch it again. I highly, highly recommend that you at least go and enjoy Roger Deakins' cinematography and Denis Villeneuve's direction on the big screen. Go do it.
Go.
Now we're going to get into spoilers now. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's spoiler time, you guys. Spoiler time. Have I said it enough? Have you stopped listening?
We're in spoilers.
We're in spoilers. All right, man.
I want you to kick off the spoiler talk because you were obviously much more of a fan than I was of this movie.
Yeah.
So I'd like to hear why it hooked you so much.
Yeah. One of the things I liked, so there's this long-standing argument with the original Blade Runner as to whether Deckard is a replicant or not. Now,
What's your opinion? After seeing this movie.
after seeing this movie, I would say not.
Really?
Yeah.
I would say yes.
Yeah, well, look, that's the thing.
Oh my God.
But that's the thing, and this is the, like, you know, when you talk about Ridley Scott and Harrison Ford and whoever the cinematographer I think from the first movie was, every single one of them has different differing ideas as to whether he is like a replicant or not. I firmly believe he's not. Now, what I liked about this though is that they introduced Kay and they let you know quite quickly that this is in fact a replicant.
Yes. You almost know in the first 2 minutes of this movie.
Yeah. So then you get this underplayed kind of very subtle performance from, like, emotionally subtle performance from Ryan Gosling, and it makes sense. If you kind of like, if you didn't understand that he was essentially part, machine, if you will. Like, it's not, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Then, you would kind of go, what the fuck is this guy's problem? Why so gloomy, dude? Like, have a bit of emotion, some character or something, feel something, do something, but you understand that the reason why he's not like that is because he himself is a replicant. And the fact that as his emotions grow, it means so much more because you understand that he's really not supposed to feel that way.
I know, and that's what's interesting about this character. Like, that was the most interesting thing about this movie, is that this machine is breaking its own rules.
Yeah, basically. And they all are. And that's the thing. And this is the whole thing that this thing is based around. Now, I also liked the way it carried on from the original story, in the sense that, when you're watching the final cut of the original Blade Runner, you see Rachel, the replicant, and Deckard, the potential replicant, maybe just a human dude, run off together. And this carries on that story in the sense of, like, they ran off and they've had a child. Now, this is kind of like a world-breaking event in the sense of this would mean that, replicants, if this got out, replicants would know that they're more than just the slaves that they are.
Yep.
And, they would, you would, like, you would expect the little rebellion that they've started would just explode.
Absolutely.
And then for humankind would then have to live or accept the fact that they have lived using potentially like life-like creatures as slaves this entire time. And that wouldn't play out too well either. And you'd have some uproar, and then it'd be like these, almost Terminator-like level strength replicants versus humans, and that doesn't look good for us.
Not at all.
But my point is, I like the fact that they played, they continued the story. But as I said before, like, you never really felt like you had to really understand Blade Runner before that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it works as a standalone movie. And just to, like 89% on Rotten Tomatoes, certified fresh. So talking about critical reviews being negative, I just thought I'd find that for you because it is,
Well, look,
predominantly positive.
11%, it's nothing to laugh at.
It isn't. So there's quite a bit as well, quite a bit more that I could go on. One thing I want to talk about is Sylvia Hoeks as Love, who was Jared Leto's replicant bodyguard / lackey. I don't know what you want to call her. I loved her.
Yeah, she was great. I'm going to say she was probably my favorite part of this movie. Yeah. I liked how ruthless she was. She knows what needs to get done. And, like, she's programmed hard.
Yeah, well, see, ruthless but vulnerable.
Yes.
And this is the thing again, like, when you see Jared Leto as he creates this new replicant that he's trying to, as you see, you slowly learn his plan, and he's trying to create a new Rachel effectively, and it's not working, and he wants to create life with them or whatever. He's trying to perfect what he knows has happened.
Yes.
He's trying to recreate it, I guess. When he kills that failed experiment in front of her, she has tears streaming down her face. Like, she is also vulnerable, and she understands, like, this is her own, like, kind and stuff like that. So she's kind of on her own, like, little sort of side mission, if you will. Like, she has her own motives.
It is. Yeah, she does. But, it's really interesting because we see basically in the final scene of this movie that she has a superiority complex. Yeah. I said that completely wrong. But she has to prove she's the best.
Yeah.
It's really interesting, the fact that, she feels for this thing, but she has to be the best out of them.
Yeah. I guess with, like, one of the other things that I really liked, and it's kind of sticking with the same sort of thing, is the fact that like with a lot of these characters, you actually see them progress, right? And even though it takes us like an hour and 40 odd minutes to get to Rick Deckard, right? The fact that it takes us almost, like most of the movie before we even see Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
But when we see him, his performance is the best of the lot. Like, so he's
the most human of them all,
well,
Troy.
yeah, because he's actually a fucking human. That's probably why. But what I'm saying is, like, you're talking about all these, like, in my opinion, like, quite great emotional arcs for, like, a Ryan Gosling and, even like to a lesser extent Love and, things like that. But once you actually get to see Deckard and what he goes through and how he reacts to that, it's almost heartbreaking. It's it's an absolutely outstanding performance from Harrison Ford, who has been known to phone it in with some of these return characters.
See, I thought he did phone it in a fair bit. I'm being honest, mate.
I don't want to what you, but what?
Yeah. Just my opinion, mate.
Okay, that's fine. Anything in particular? Is there anything that stood out for you as to why you would think that?
You know what felt really phoned into me? Was his crying scenes.
Oh, no.
I'm being honest.
That was dead set, spot on. That was trauma. That was heartbreak. That was everything that you would feel in that scenario.
I don't think he had it.
Oh, man.
I don't think he had it. Now, in saying that, what did you think? Did you catch on very early that the creator of Memories was his daughter?
No.
No? I had a very strong suspicion.
Yeah. Looking back at it, I probably should have.
Yeah.
But I guess another thing that I enjoyed was Ryan Gosling's arc insofar as him going from just believing he's just this LAPD Blade Runner and just doing his job to believing he could be the child of this miraculous child of Deckard and Rachel, to the final realization that he's not, but his ultimate sacrifice to make sure that father gets back to child regardless. I think that was brilliant.
Do you think he died?
Yes.
Do you?
Yeah. I think it plays along the parallels of Roy Batty from the first movie.
Yeah.
Who, spoilers for a 40-year-old movie, but
get your shit together.
Get your shit together. But this is he dies in the end of that as well, and he dies, doing something good. And it's not that Ryan Gosling was bad at any point necessarily, but he was kind of very nonplussed about having to kill fellow replicants and things like that, as we see with his disposal of Sapper Morton, Dave Bautista, at the start.
Which boggles me that he got naming rights in this movie on the poster.
Well, yeah, I mean, but the guy's been in Guardians of the Galaxy and all that sort of stuff. He's a bit of a name at the moment, so go for it. That's fine. Well, look, when you're looking at you have Ryan Gosling, Harrison Ford, and then that's kind of it. You've got Jared Leto and you've got Robin Wright, and we haven't even really spoken about Robin Wright yet. But she was the one who was she was Kay's boss, and she was the one that was pushing for him to find the child and destroy it, because she was concerned that if it got out,
it'll start a world war.
All hell would break loose.
Yeah.
So for me, man, there was so much to love about it. I honestly, 2 hours and 45 minutes or whatever it is, I never once felt bored. And I think that speaks a lot to the storytelling, and I understand you're not the first person that I've heard that there are pacing problems and things like that, but I think it's going to be a very, very individual sort of thing, and I think that could contribute to why the movie is suffering a little bit, because it is going to be it's not going to be for everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. This movie, one of the things that it does is it shows a lot of detective work, and in the sense I don't think it needs to show as much as it showed. One thing I did like is how we got the replicants that came back and destroyed all the digital records.
Yeah.
So we've got this mixture of, we've got an analog world and a very, very, very digital world.
Yeah. And that also helps to explain why the world in 2049 kind of, is so much more different to the world from 2019.
Yeah.
In the sense of yes, this movie is almost 40 years later or whatever. And the technology is going to have been advanced and it's going to look a lot better and all this sort of stuff, but it kind of plays into that because there is the talk of the giant EMP that they let off in 2022, I believe. Yep. So they've had 25 or 27 odd years to rebuild since then. And yeah, it's good though. It's a very good mix of analog and digital. But obviously, they're going to get to a point where, the digital is better. It's also 2049, for fuck's sake.
Get it together, boys. What's your thoughts on the fact that these new replicants, version 9, I think they are?
Nexus
9s?
We'll say 9s, because I think it's not 9, but I can't remember. but the 8s are the older models.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's your thoughts that they almost need love? They need this companionship. Like, do you feel like that is an absolute flaw in the design of these, I guess, machines?
Well, I don't think it's a flaw. I think it's this natural progression of these machines.
Yeah,
and
okay.
like we're talking about things that have somehow developed the ability to recreate life. You know, so like you'd have to understand that at some point, like, yeah, they're going to grow emotionally, and the whole reason why they set off the EMP in the first place was because of their own kind of mortality.
Yep.
They knew they had these kind of expiry dates, and they didn't want that. They wanted to live. So I think when you're having those kind of thoughts anyway, you are going to get these kind of emotional things. You're going to need the normal things that human people need, which is normally connection and, you know, relationships and love and attachment and all that sort of stuff. So, yeah, I buy into it completely.
Yeah, right.
Yep.
Okay, that's
For
fair.
sure. All right. Action sequences.
Not many.
There's about 3 or 4. I thought they were impressive though. For like, I did enjoy the opening fight scene, if you will.
Oh,
with,
the little wrestle through a wall, and that's about
yeah,
it.
yeah. But like, it was good. But I mean, like, that's kind of when you first found out that Kay was a replicant. Then we've got obviously the junkyard scene, which was quite impressive.
The junkyard scene was pretty cool, and I like the fact that it was kind of so laid back to the sense that was almost comical.
Yeah.
The ladies, they're getting their nails did.
Yeah. And she's just like, you know, using these targeted glasses to like, you know, basically fuck shit up.
Very graphic scene if you looked closely.
Oh, yeah, 100%. This movie didn't hold back. And one of my favorite parts was we've got this whole fight scene between Kay and Deckard when they first meet and all that sort of stuff. So
in the theater room?
Yeah, so they're in that like casino, like whatever room it is that they're in. And, you know, basically Deckard is just punching the shit out of him, kind of realizing that he's not going to get anywhere.
Yeah.
And then anyway, so it all settles down and all that sort of stuff. And then they finally realize that they're being watched, and they kind of take off. And Harrison Ford, you know, does the normal thing and runs through the door. Ryan Gosling, bam, straight through a brick wall.
I couldn't help but laugh at that scene.
I thought it was great, man. I thought I loved it. Like, you know, it's just a little bit, but I'm like, that's fucking cool.
That is cool. It was like an awesome little touch. What's your thoughts on the dog? Is that a replicant dog? Is there replicant animals in this universe too?
Well, there is replicant animals.
Right.
Yeah. And see, this is the whole thing. Like, the movie is based on a book by Philip K. Dick called Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep?
Yes.
And the whole part of the book is like Deckard is effectively trying to save up enough money to buy a real sheep for his wife. Say.
Oh, okay.
Something like that.
Yep.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Internet, but it's something like that. And he questions whether replicants would dream of owning a replicant sheep. So, you know, it's all part of the lore. But there are definitely replicant animals, 100% built in. It's, yeah, actually finding real animals is the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Life goals. There you go.
So I would say 100% definitely replicant dog. Love that bottle of Johnny Walker Black Label. Thought that was cool as shit. Hopefully they release that as a limited edition. It's that big square, like rectangle bottle. I want that. Release that as a limited edition, goddamn you.
Johnny Walker, please send some of that to the CC Studios ASAP.
All right. One thing we haven't spoken about yet, which I think definitely needs to be addressed, and that is Ana de Armas's Joy. Kind of Kay's love interest, if you will, who is effectively like a computer program, like a hologram, that kind of gets a little bit Wi-Fi portable.
Yeah.
At some point, which I thought was really cool. The part I want to talk about is the love scene.
What an interesting take on a love scene,
Mate,
I guess.
that was spectacular.
Yeah.
I was trying my hardest. I've been watching movies for the longest time. Sometimes I try to get a little bit deeper into the movie than normal. Sometimes I just kick back and watch it. Sometimes I don't even watch it at all. I just have it in front of me. But this, for me, I was trying to figure out how they would have done it, and I just don't know. But I think, I thought it was spectacular. I like the fact it didn't get graphic either. It wasn't necessary for it to get, ridiculous. But just the entire way that was filmed, and the entire way that she was filmed in the fact that she keeps kind of like flickering in and out of like existence, and like light will shine through her and she looks completely solid, and then all of a sudden like light will go past and you realize that she's not. And her performance as well, so kind of like sweet and demure but helpful, and kind of really like what you would call would be Kay's kind of like not his conscience, but his the kind of driving force to get him to start investigating this properly.
Yeah, it's what really grounds him.
Yeah,
like it gives him his drive. It's his cause.
Well, yeah. Well, and she is the one that's kind of saying, "This is you. This this must be you. You've spoken to me about it, and you have a name. Your mother would never not name you. Like she cared for you too much, and your name's Joe." And like,
which
Joe's
we do learn
name.
later on that every person has been programmed to be called Joe from this I guess piece of software, because that's what she really is.
Yeah, but I really like there are a lot of things that this movie did really well for me, and I do look forward to the time when I have time to watch it again.
You just want to see giant naked ladies.
I am not against it at all. I didn't expect it. I'm like, oh, that is like a 40-foot titty. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine by me. Also loved the world as well, by the way.
The world is amazing. What I take out, the thing that I take from this movie is that we can go off-world in this universe.
Yeah.
We didn't see any of that, which really, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I want to know if there's aliens in this world.
Are you trying to throw more shit into a 2-hour and 45-minute movie?
And that's the thing. Like, I feel like there's so many other interesting things that we could have explored in a nearly 3-hour movie.
Yeah.
And we explored the things that we did.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like, there's so much more substance to these other things. Like, imagine if there's a whole other world that's just full of replicants that are just fucking like crazy and the replicant babies are everywhere. Like, that could be a reality in this universe.
Just sex planet.
Yeah.
Just bam, just non-stop replicants banging. That is not where my mind would have gone first, but I appreciate that yours did, man.
It could happen.
It could happen. I like that, and I do, but that's part of the reason what I like about it is that this has opened up a whole new world. I don't want to like Aladdin quote you right now, but like it's opened up a whole new world. And the only problem is it's not doing well financially.
Yes.
So will we see more?
No, never.
Probably not. But we don't need to, because it also serves as a fantastic standalone. That's my thing. That's my take, baby. That's my take. 100% rate from me. Not 100% score.
Oh,
if you're just joining in, I tend to like throw out 100% all the time. But I don't.
Perfect movie, nothing wrong.
Yeah, but I don't necessarily mean that. But we try to keep things simple here. Rate it, hate it, rate it,
hate it. Well, after that lengthy review, I think that's going to do it for this week, Troy.
Look, you've had Blade Runner 2049, you've had Justice League, you've had Star Wars The Last Jedi, you've had New Mutants. We're done. My voice, I feel like I'm almost at the point of losing it. It's on its way out.
I've never seen you so animated. I think if someone looked at the time per words that we've said, I think you said 90% of that review. Because I just had no interest in that movie at all.
That's great, but hey, that's your choice, and that's fine. That's your that's how you feel, man, and that's fine. It might be wrong. I don't know, but that's yours, and you got to wear that for the rest of your life.
You got to wear that badge, man.
But look, what it does show is it shows exactly kind of what I was saying, and that's the fact that the movie isn't necessarily going to be for everybody.
Well, that's right.
One man's trash is another man's treasure.
Look, this is this year's second Mother movie.
I would classify this, and I should have said this at some point in the review, but I would classify Blade Runner 2049 as my second favorite movie of 2017.
Ooh.
Behind Logan. Nothing has beaten Logan yet, because Logan hit me on an emotional level that nothing has been able to hit me at since. I do, there are a number of other impressive movies as well, but I would definitely, if I'm going number 1, number 2, it's Logan, Blade Runner 2049. Just throwing it.
What's number 3?
I would probably say Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
I did really enjoy that, so that's probably where that would lie, I would say.
Fair call.
Fair enough. Mate, that's it. Next week, we'll be back. We'll be doing some more stuff. We're here every week, goddammit. Every goddamn week.
Same time, same channel.
Yeah, it is.
Fuck, did I just rip off Fat Man on Batman?
Oh,
I'm going to get
no,
sued.
You didn't say same fat time.
Oh,
same
fuck.
fat channel.
I'm so sued. I'm so sued.
Oh my God, I'm so sued, you guys. Yeah, we'll be back next week, as always. Let's thank some people, man.
Let's thank the listeners, subscribers, and reviewers. You guys are actually kicking some goals at the moment.
You guys are well and truly kicking some goals. And I know there are a number of new people out there that are listening to the show, just joining in.
Yeah, thanks for jumping on. We've seen a couple of spikes lately, which is always good to see.
It is good to see. That lets us know that there are nude bees. There are nude bees out there. And we love you.
Those sexy, sexy bees.
Oh, those sexy bees.
With their boobies out.
Hey, Jesus Christ. Look, you can find us on Facebook at Comic Confidential. Just search that. We also have a listener community which you can join, fellow like-minded nerds and nerdettes, et cetera, who like to talk about this type of stuff. That's Comic Confidential listener community. We're on Facebook and Instagram at Comic Con Pod. Search for us there. We have a website.
That's comicconpod.com. Past episodes, future episodes, and Potterhead episodes in between.
Hey, it's new. I don't like change. Patreon.com/ComicConPod to support the show. That's where you get your future episodes. Jump on there for as little as $1 a month. You can get early access. Patreon subscribers have gotten the entire first season early access to Potterheads already, and it hasn't even dropped. It's just got a trailer out.
It's got a trailer out. It's already got nearly 20 reviews.
It is dropping this week.
Yes, the first 4 episodes dropped. As soon as you hear this, jump over to Potterheads, hit subscribe, and your little podcast app will download 4 episodes of glory.
Now, that is Amy and Kirsten who are running that show.
Yes. Hosting, Troy.
Hosting is the word. I don't know. I'm new at this.
And, you'll remember Amy from previous episodes of Comic Confidential. We will get her on the show again soon.
100%.
And Kirsten's new to the CC family.
Welcome. Now, you've been around for a while. You'll be right. So, look, you guys, thanks for listening. As always, I'm Troy.
I'm Cade.
And this has been Comic Confidential.
Cheers.
Peace. Oh, man, I love me some new listeners. This is my song for the new listeners. Gotta be strong for the new listeners. Yeah, it's pretty good.
That's amazing. And we've lost them.
Yeah. It was a nice run while they were here, but so long, guys. Thanks for the love. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna let you press stop.
I'm gonna press stop.
All right, go on then. No, go to press stop.
Oh, okay. Tell me when. Okay, I've pressed stop.
Go now. Let's have another 20 minutes of silence at the
end. Can we? If you love this podcast, then head over to comicconpod.com to check out the other incredible shows on our network.
You can also support us on Patreon from as little as $1 a month.
You'll get early access to all our shows, plus secret supporter content that's not available to the public.
Head over to patreon.com/comicconpod to find out more.